Welcome to another episode of Women's Wellness That Works. I'm Essential Anne, and we have a very special guest all the way from Italy. Micaela Passeri is an award-winning emotional intelligence business strategist with over 20 years of experience. She has 2 business degrees and several certifications coaching women in business to break through their fears, manage their emotions around money and success, and helping them break through their income ceiling by teaching them to allow courage to lead them to service, purpose, and fulfillment. Welcome, Micaela, to our Women's Wellness That Works expert series. So you are our business strategy expert for today. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So you are all the way in Italy at this moment, are you?
I am, yes.
Yes. So tell me about that. Do you live by coast? Are you here also in the United States?
Yes, I live in LA most of the time, but I'm Italian. I was born and raised here in Florence. So I come back quite often. I guess I really live in both places because I'm here for 2 months, there for 2 months, here for 2 months, there for 2 months. So I go back and forth. And
So
right now I'm here until August. So
I know, which, I know is a warm time of the year, but still beautiful as well.
Yeah.
So why don't you share with us your background as a business strategist? What career choices or events led you to this work?
How much time do we have? Long story, but I'll try to synthesize it. Well, my father was an entrepreneur, so I watched him just be his own boss. And ever since I can remember, I just knew that having a 9-to-5 was just not going to be for me, and that I really wanted to be my own boss, and I wanted to have the freedom to do whatever, go wherever, and really make it in the world. So when I went to college, the one thing that struck me for me was business. Mm-hmm. So I just, studied it right out of college. I went into business for myself. I had a full-time job. So I kept my full-time job for a while, but I started my entrepreneurial journey right out of college. Mm-hmm. And I actually was a fashion designer for about 10 years.
Wow.
So I had a handbag line. I was designing and making leather handbags here in Florence and importing them to the US. So I did that for 10 years. And then after that, I was a clothing designer for another 6 or 8 years, doing inspirational messages on clothes. And that's what really brought me then to be a coach and to do the coaching work, because I found that my clients would buy my products, my clothes. They loved the shape and everything, but they really loved the message. And so they'd come back to me and say, Micaela, I bought your I Love Who I Am shirt and I love it, but I can't wear it. It's still sitting on my bedside table. I'm like, why? Why aren't you wearing it? And so that started this whole coaching conversation. I just was threw into it, where I was coaching these women into really kind of uncovering why they felt that they were frauds if they were wear I Love Who I Am as a t-shirt.
That is so interesting that women, even the words on a shirt, they were not able to wear because they did not feel that way, right? About themselves, which is remarkable.
Yeah, they felt that they were being inauthentic, and so they'd rather not wear it, but they bought it, right? And
but they bought it because they loved the thought and the idea of it.
And they knew that that's what they wanted. They wanted to love themselves. So that kind of started my journey into just becoming a coach. I delved into a lot of different modalities. I found a modality that really worked for myself and that I wanted to certify in. Well, I found more than one, but one that I really honed in on was emotion code, and that's what I use in my practice. But I also use NLP and future visioning and other modalities. And then I just kind of combined that, all of the inner work that brought women to really value themselves and to see themselves as whole, with all of the business strategy and the business acumen that I had achieved, and not only through my schooling, with my degrees, but also as an entrepreneur myself, because when
Right.
when I was running my fashion business, I was doing multiple six figures in one business and multiple seven figures in another business. So I had done it for myself as well.
Right.
And so
That's
that's kind of how I got to do what I'm doing.
You are definitely a businesswoman, a badass businesswoman. You've already had that experience. So now you're transferring into coaching, which I love. So you're a huge proponent of emotional intelligence using the emotion code. Can you share how you use that in your business coaching with women to break through their limiting beliefs?
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, Emotion Code was created by a doctor by the name of Bradley Nelson. And it is really a way to connect directly with a person's subconscious mind. And you use kinesiology, so muscle testing, to get yes or no answers. And so what that allows me as a practitioner, as the coach, it allows me to really pinpoint what was the root causal negative emotional event that happened in somebody's past that is a trigger into a disempowering conversation that the human being is still carrying in their subconscious at the time of us working together. And when we do that work and we do that uncovering, we really find that there's these thoughts and these beliefs and this tape that's running, that's really leading the individual years later into behaving a certain way, thinking a certain way, sabotaging themselves, holding themselves back, doubting themselves, whatever that may be, into not producing in their business.
Right.
And so I use that to really identify what's going on in the subconscious. And then we create new neural pathways by creating power affirmations that are totally opposite conversations to what they were made up back in the past. And then they get to use those as tools to bring them forward. And then after that, we just get into the nitty gritty of, okay, business strategy. What are the things that you need to put into action in your business? What is it that you get to implement to make the moves, to get to the next level, to make more money, to get the sales, to find the connections, to find JVs, whatever it is for your business?
And so you first and foremost work on the emotion, the blockages, the limiting beliefs before you get into the actual business strategy and the action plan, which makes sense, right? And that should be in everything in our everyday life, right? All business starts with how we feel about ourselves, how we it's a reflection of our lives and how we feel. So I think that's a wonderful thing that you're doing. And so how
that all starts with you, right?
Yeah, it all starts with me, myself, and I. But how long is that process? And I know every woman is different and every individual is different. But so when you coach a woman, does it take a few months, a few weeks, or how does your process work?
Yeah, so I mean, look, it takes 90 days at least to interrupt a pattern, a habit, a bad habit, right? And to create a new one. And to start practicing and really implementing a new. So minimum that I work with people is 90 days. And I can work with people up to a year or multiple years. Sometimes clients stay with me for many, many years. My oldest client has been with me for 8 years.
Wow.
And he constantly is pivoting and shifting. And so he knows the value of really staying on point and using this to manifest for his purpose. So it really just depends, but the minimum is at least 90 days because it takes time. Look, you've conditioned yourself, no matter if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, it's taken all of those years to condition yourself to where you are, right? So it's going to take time to uncondition yourself.
Yeah. And it definitely may take obviously longer than 90 days because yes, we've had these preconceptions about ourselves for maybe 30, 40 years or however old we are, right? So it does take time to break that habit. And I know for myself, I'll use myself as an example. When I was younger, we were upper middle class. So we had some money and my dad was a general contractor. And I remember growing up and we would travel around Asia. I grew up in the South Pacific. And then I remember at 7 or 8 years old, and I didn't understand this at the time, my dad's business was like slowly dissipating and they were taking like vehicles, and they were taking, they're liquidating things. And I didn't understand at that time, but my dad was actually losing his business. So we went from having money to no money, right, at 9 or 10 years old. And that stuck with me until I got older. And I always felt that I never had enough, that I was going to lose everything because I had everything and then it was gone. And so when I grew up in my 20s, and even in my 30s, I always felt this lack of, because of that, that memory that I had growing up with my mom and my dad. But now, obviously, as I've broken through those limiting beliefs that, you know, I can create my own abundance, that I'm allowing myself to not feel those feelings. That's something that happened to my father, not to me, and that I will not repeat that same pattern moving forward. But, you know, it is so extraordinary that our belief system, that what we feel not only transforms in our business, but our health as well. So let's talk about you and how you actually are able now to live in both countries, United States and Italy. What have you done in your business to be that successful? You are an example.
Yeah. And, you know, you first of all, I just want to acknowledge what you just said, which is we are the source of our own abundance. We really, not only emotionally and mentally, but obviously also through our actions and what we put into place inside our business that allows us to create that abundance. And it's really up to us. And so that's really what I've done. I've just really realized that it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me.
Correct.
And so I really, since I was a little girl, I wanted to really embody my biculturality, because I am bicultural. My mom is American, my dad was Italian. And so I've always had that dream of just living in both places. And yeah, before, you know, lived here and would go to America for vacation. Then I lived in America and came over to Italy for vacation. And now I can really say that I live in both places. And so what I really put into place is just my commitment to my goal, not giving up, even when it was hard, even when I had no evidence that it was going to work out, right? I just really kept going. And so I used all of the tools in my toolbox to keep myself grounded, to keep myself focused, to keep myself constantly pivoting and looking at new things, constantly staying in a yes attitude instead of shutting everything down or being cynical or being critical. It's like, yes, okay, this is in my space right now. What does it mean? Why is that? How did I create that, right? So it's really just constantly upping myself and
elevating yourself to that next level.
And looking at, okay, so if this is present in my life and I don't like it, why is it? What about me and what about my being and my doing created it? Okay, here's where I get to shift. Oh, okay, this thinking is probably what, and just working on myself. I constantly do work on myself as well. So it's really a combination of a lot of different things. But I think having a yes attitude, never giving up, not stopping, staying focused, taking inspired action in the avenue of my goal on a regular basis. And and just really allowing myself to make mistakes and then to get back on the horse and keep constantly grow.
Those are great tips for women to be successful. What you just mentioned, it's the be, do, have attitude, right? It starts with the be,
absolutely,
the doing, and then eventually the having. So you have transformed that in your personal life, and then you share your knowledge and your information with all the women. Now, now that you're living in both countries, what have you learned about being a woman? First of all, how do single women, and I know you're single, how do single women, you're with partners?
I'm not married, but I do have a boyfriend.
Yes. So let's say a single mother who
that I am.
Right. A single mother out there who wants to start a business, but doesn't know how to start, maybe financially they're not there. What would you recommend for a single mom even who really wants to own their financial, accountability and really make that happen? What would you recommend to someone like that?
Well, so first and foremost, this is what I tell my clients all the time is there is money around you. You just get to see it and claim it. So if somebody is not financially there, there are organizations and ways that you can get access to capital that can support you. I started my handbag business with $5,000.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
turned it into a multiple six-figure business. So if I can do it, you can do it, right?
Mhm.
So I would say, look, you have to keep an open mind, have a yes attitude. Look for, if you don't have the money, look for ways to get started, get even small capital. There's a lot of banks that will give you seed money of $5,000
Mhm.
to start something. So the money is out there. You just get to claim it. You could do a crowdfunding campaign. You could ask your family members to support you. I mean, there are so many ways that you can raise the capital that you need to get started.
Mhm.
So the first thing I would say is stay open. Don't believe all of the excuses that your mind is going to give you because it's really scary. Because really what's underneath it is the fear of failing, or maybe even the fear of succeeding. So I would
Right.
say stay open. Don't close yourself. Don't believe the false evidence appearing real that the fear is going to feed you, and go actively look for the funds. Maybe
Mhm.
you've got stuff in your garage that you need to sell on Craigslist that you can
Right.
make some money from.
Right.
Maybe you got some stocks, maybe you got a 401k that you can cash out. There's money everywhere in your space. I guarantee you that you can find it. And worst comes to worst, go to a bank. I
Mhm.
know Chase and Wells Fargo offer $5,000 loans, and there's tons of companies that offer grants.
Mhm.
So money is out there. You get to look for it. You get to see it. You get to recognize it, and you get to claim it. And then just do it. Just get started.
And again, it starts with our emotions, what we think about ourselves, what we think about money, and how we transfer that, So I
Yeah.
think you have that perfect quality and protocol to share with women to be successful. I think that's a great, great way for women to just make the first steps, to take that first step, right?
Yeah.
So how can women manifest and design and create anything? Women can manifest and create anything in their lives, basically, right? So we are powerful, I think now more so than any time in this century, because we have more options, more opportunities. Women are successful CEOs of companies, business owners, and such as yourself. So how can we inspire more women to be proud and empowered entrepreneurs in 2023? How collectively can we support each other in businesses and supporting ourselves?
Well, first of all, I want to say this is that yes, we are powerful as women. We have our power in our womb. That's our creative center. So if you ever doubt that you have the power, just remember the power that you have to create a life. That's the most powerful thing ever. So if you ever doubt that you're not powerful, just connect with your womb and know that you can create from that source. So that's the first thing I want to say. Second thing is that we get to support each other. There's a lot of women out there that, have products and services that maybe you say, oh, I don't need that, or, I don't need that book. I'm not going to read the book. Buy it, $20.
Right.
Support an event, $35. Do it. It's about supporting each other, because what goes around comes around. So if you put your authentic support and love and care out for other women, it'll come back to you. So I think that's a way that we really can support each other. But I think the biggest way is to believe in ourselves, because
Mhm.
if we believe in ourselves and we show up more confident and more powerful in that way, because we know what we bring to the table,
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference that we can make, because then we're just leading other women to show up behind us, right?
Right.
As we
Right.
lead them. So yeah, I would say that, just
I-
believe in ourselves.
You and I have something similar. I think you created an event you created an event recently. I wasn't able to attend it for, I think it was
The conference, the Women's Empowerment
Yes.
Conference.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so part of what I do is I'm also a director for a global organization called Global Women Club. And we do conferences all over the world. And I organized the Los Angeles Women's Empowerment Conference last May. And it was really about bringing women together to commune, to network, to empower each other, hear other women speak, connect, just lead by example. So it was really a great event. We had a
And
great
is that
time.
annually, or do you do it often?
Yeah, it's once a year in each of the main cities that there's a club. So LA, we did LA, New York. This summer we have the big summit in London. Actually, Deepak Chopra
Oh,
wonderful. Is our keynote. So I'll be sharing the stage with Deepak, which is really exciting.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so yeah, we have the yearly summit in July, mid-July in London. Then we have New York, Cyprus, LA, Amsterdam, Stockholm. Those are the places that we usually, we did one in Dubai. So yeah, so it's about just really supporting women. One of the mottos of Global Women is, if you want to empower a woman, give her a microphone. So it's really, we create a platform for women to show up, speak up, and stand up for themselves.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Definitely. You definitely have to share that information. I definitely want to attend as many of those as I can. I would love to.
Yeah, it's a membership community. So there's an opportunity to be members so that you can actually access all the clubs throughout the year. So there's not just the conferences, so one could keep that going. But yeah, it's a really great community organization. So I wouldn't have, by the way, my business would not be international if it wasn't for Global Women.
Oh, wonderful. That is a great ad for them. So here's what I want to ask you. What, as a busy businesswoman, what is your self-care routine like? How do you manage, balance, or, focus on you?
Yeah. Well, so first and foremost, I have a lot of energy.
Yes, I did that.
I go. So what happens when I go is that I really get to listen to my body. So one of the things that I do is I listen to my body and I really take care of it. So I get a lot of massages. I do a lot of saunas. I do a lot of beach time. I do like sort of sound bath type of events. So I do things that really make me happy, make me feel good. And on a day-to-day basis, I just, meditate, take some time to just kind of regroup, decompress. I usually do 90-minute segments, so then I take breaks. So it really just depends. I don't necessarily have a set routine. I just kind of follow my intuition and follow my body.
Listen to your body.
I just have a handful of things that I like to do. And that's what I, just kind of do it moment by moment.
I like the advice that you recommend about 90-minute segments, because sometimes we tend to just sit basically for hours and hours without taking a break, right? So for me, it's stretching. For me, it's walking. For me, it's just getting up and breathing. So getting up, walking, stretching, and so forth, and then coming back kind of to refocus. But yeah, 90-minute segments are great to refocus and get motivated for the day. So how do women find you, or how does anyone find you? Where can we find you?
Well, my main website is www.loveyourevolution.com, which interestingly enough is, sorry, that was a call, so we can cut that, which interestingly enough is also Love You Revolution, which was my clothing line. So you can find me there.
I love that.
Yeah.
No pun intended. I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find, she's gonna keep calling. So you
We're
can find,
live.
yeah.
This is what happens.
You know, you can connect with me there, but you can find me on all of the social media platforms. I do live on Facebook more than any of the other ones. So you can find me on Facebook, Micaela Passeri, Micaela Passeri. And yeah.
I think
and
we
connect
connected
with me
on LinkedIn. You and I connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do go on LinkedIn too and Insta, but I mainly, I don't know why. I think because Facebook was the first one that I got on. I just
Right.
got used to it.
Got used to it.
Yeah, so
we're gonna put all your information below, and we'll
great.
definitely share that with everyone. I just want to acknowledge you for all the work that you do for all women around the world, and everything that you do to bring women together, to inspire and empower women to be successful, not only in their business, but in their overall everyday life, but really focusing on an emotional connection with our mind, our body, our business, and our life. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I appreciate this time to
Yeah.
share. You know, as you can see, I'm really passionate. I could go on for hours. But so even a little time, anytime is always great to share. So really thank you for having me.
Yes, we'll have you back on again, because I know this is a wonderful topic. You know, money and women and being successful entrepreneurs. I mean, that is a definitely huge topic for this time of our lives for women. So we definitely want to learn more from you. We'll get more in depth. And, you know,
Yes,
you can
great.
always find her on all the social media outlets and media outlets out there, as well as her website. So we'll put all that information. And again, thank you for being with us here at Women's Wellness That Works. Remember, ladies, every woman has her story. What's your story? Until next time on the next Women's Wellness That Works, an expert series, we will see you again soon. Have a wonderful day.
Ciao.